Right, so you're working out, you're eating healthy, you're doing all the right stuff, but despite all of that, you're not skinny, you're not fat either. You simply just don't look like you work out at all. Basically, something that is commonly referred to as skinny fat. So you have these skinny arms, you have this flabby belly, and it's definitely not the most pleasant feeling ever. And in 90, I would honestly say 99% of cases, all of this comes down to four simple signs that, or four simple mistakes that you're probably doing that you think are good, but are honestly keeping you skinny fat for life. So without bullshitting you, without wasting any more of your time, let's just move into my laptop where I want to show you the four signs you will always stay skinny fat and exactly what to do in each and every single one of them so that you don't look skinny fat, because who would want that, right? And as you can obviously notice, this comes from someone who actually was stuck skinny fat, because I spent 3 years doing everything right, or everything I thought was right. I was training consistently, I was eating clean, I was trying harder every time something stopped working. And I stayed skinny fat the entire time. So flabby belly, skinny arms, just not looking like the effort I was putting in. And it was not because I was lazy, not because I had bad genetics, whatever, but because I kept making the same four mistakes all over and over and over again without me even realizing it. And the thing is, these are not some kind of random mistakes. They're just the exact patterns that I see in every skinny fat guys who come to me stuck, frustrated, and convinced that their body simply does not respond and that their body is simply not supposed to look good, right? And the thing is, spoiler alert, it does respond. You're just giving it the wrong signals, and here are the four signs and exactly what to do about each one of them. So, sign number one is that you keep switching programs before honestly anything has time to work. So you start a new program, you give it 2 weeks time, and you don't see any results. So you research something new, something better, you switch, you repeat, and you have run 5 programs in the past year, and you still look exactly the same, if not worse. Because the thing is, your body needs time to adapt. Muscle isn't built in 2 weeks, fat is not lost in 2 weeks. Progress in body recomp, which is losing fat and building muscle at the same time, which is the only thing you should attempt as a skinny fat man, but I'll get to that later. It is measured in months, maybe sometimes even years, not just days. And every time you switch, you reset the clock and your body never gets the consistent signal it actually needs to change. And so I completely understand that switching programs feels productive. It feels like you're doing something because it's new. But that's something I just call mental masturbation. What you're actually doing, I made a typo there, what you're actually doing is avoiding the discomfort of patience, because that's what it is. It is the discomfort of patience. Patience is not comfortable, right? But that is why it works. The program is not the problem. Your timeline and your impatience is. So to kind of fix this, pick one program built around progressive overload, run it for minimum 12 weeks, and if you don't see any results, go ahead, switch it. But the thing is, if you stick to it actually consistently and you progressively overload every single one of your weeks, so add reps or weight every single one of your weeks, you will look better, my man. It's not even negotiable. You will look better. So go ahead, run it for 12, 16 weeks. If nothing changes, go ahead, switch it, but it will change. So there's not even a grain of doubt about that in it. So track your lifts every session, and if you're adding weight or reps consistently, the program is working. That's the only metric that matters. So yeah, the best program is the one you can actually stick to long enough to see results. So now that we have point or sign number one out of the way, let's just move into sign number two, which is, drum roll, you're optimizing for the scale instead of the mirror. So you weigh yourself every morning, the number goes slightly up and you panic. So you cut calories, you add more cardio, you restrict yourself, you starve yourself, you do all the extreme stuff. And yeah, the number will go down. And you feel like you're winning, even though you look exactly the same. The scale measures everything. Fat, muscle, water, food in your stomach, inflammation, everything. It tells you almost nothing useful about how your body is built, how much fat you have and how much muscle you have. Because a skinny fat guy can lose 5 pounds on the scale and look worse because he lost muscle, not fat. And he can also gain 2 pounds and look significantly better because he built muscle and lost fat at the same time. So the chasing of the scale keeps you in a restrict and lose cycle. You lose weight but not fat, you get lighter but not leaner, and you end up skinny fat with the same body fat percentage, less muscle, and overall like worse physique, worse feeling better, less energy overall. So my actionable step for you is to please put the scale away for 30 days, track your lifts, track your food, take weekly photos instead of, measuring your progress using the scale, and also measure your weights, because these tell you what's actually changing in your body composition. Because like the thing is, weight is just a number. How you look and how you perform is actually what matters, So, like skinny fat is a body composition problem. Fix it with body composition metrics, not just weight. So, sign number 3, and I'm really like moving through these really fast because I don't want to bullshit you and I don't want to waste your time, like unnecessarily. So just to kind of like give you a recap of what we had up until now. So sign number 1 is that you keep switching programs before anything has time to work. So please stay patient. Find a program built around progressive overload. Stick to it. 12 to 16 weeks minimum. You will see results. Non-negotiable. And second of all, like stop optimizing for the scale and start optimizing for the mirror. Like how you look, how you feel far outweighs, pun intended, far outweighs the weight. So having these two out of the way, let's just move into, sign number 3. And sign number 3 is that you think bulking and cutting will fix skinny fat. And man, is this hitting home, honestly. Like this hits home so much because I thought bulking and cutting are literally like the holy grail, and that is literally what will help me finally get lean and athletic, but that was not the case. Because you bulk to build muscle, you put on fat along with it, then you cut to lose fat, you lose muscle along with it, and you end up in almost the same place that you started. Maybe slightly bigger, but still soft. And you simply repeat the cycle year after year. Because bulk and cut cycles are designed for people who already have a solid muscle base and low enough body fat to work with. For skinny fat guy, they're a complete and utter disaster. Because when you bulk, you're already carrying excess fat, so you just add more. When you cut, on the other hand, without enough muscle underneath, you just get smaller and softer, and the cycle never actually solves the problem. That's why it is called a cycle, this hamster wheel of bulking and cutting, and it just never works. Because other thing that this bulking and cutting cycle also does to your body, like on a metabolic level, is that it completely wrecks and ruins your metabolism. Your body never gets, a consistent signal. It's always either in a surplus or always in a deficit, and it's just always adapting, always, completely fucking dysregulated and always like out of like whack, basically. And this is exactly why so many skinny fat guys feel like their metabolism is broken, because it honestly is. And that's because the approach they've been using has been breaking it completely. So the fix for skinny fat man is something called body recomposition. You don't want to get into a huge bulk. You don't want to go into a huge calorie deficit. The only thing you want to do is a small 200 to 300 calorie deficit combined with 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight and progressive overload at least 3 to 4 times per week. You don't want to go crazy at the gym, like you do want to go crazy at the gym, obviously. Like you want to go crazy with your strength, but you don't want to go into crazy depths where you work out 7 times per week, because that is not good. You need recovery as well. That is a really important part. So 3 to 4 times per week with progressive overload is more than enough for skinny fat man. Like that's all you need. So this way you actually build muscle and lose fat at the same time. It's sure, like it's slower than bulk or a cut, but is the only approach that actually solves the skinny fat problem, and that helps you build muscle and lose fat at the same time, which in return helps you build that lean athletic body, because you're probably not going for this huge bodybuilding, shredded six-pack all year round, whatever, C-bum kind of physique. You just want to look good, feel good on the beach, on a vacation, enjoy your life while doing so, and yeah, just be fully present, because you don't have to be like fully self-conscious about your body all the time. So this way, again, as I said, you build muscle and lose fat at the same time and achieve the look you're going for. Because bulk and cut was never designed for skinny fat men, please stop using it. And last but not least, sign number 4 that is keeping you skinny fat for life and how to fix it exactly is that you're training without progressive overload. And this is super obvious, right? But you're still not doing it probably if you're watching this video. I know I was not doing it, even though I was doing everything right. Because you show up to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, you do your sets, you lift roughly the same way you lifted last week, and you leave. You basically just go to the gym, just go through the motions. And you've been doing this for months or years and your body still looks the same despite you being consistent and disciplined with the gym. And the reason for this is that your body only builds muscle in response to a stimulus it hasn't adapted to yet. The first time you bench press 60 kilos, it's a new stimulus. Your body adapts, your body builds muscle. But now at this point, after months or years, 60 kilos is super easy. If you bench press 60 kilos again next week, there's no stimulus, right? No reason to build more muscle because your body has already adapted to that load, to that weight. And again, like to the point of being consistent with the gym, most skinny fat guys confuse consistency with progress. Showing up is not the same as progressing. It never was, it never will be, and it's just not the way. You can be incredibly consistent because at the point where I was skinny fat, I was super consistent, I was super disciplined. I was doing something called 75 hard, which means that I was training 2 times per day for 75 days straight, which is like 2.5 months. So run in the morning, gym in the evening for 75 days straight. I was consistent, I was disciplined as fuck. It was hard, right? But I looked worse at the end of it than I looked at the start of all of it. So that's how you know consistency, discipline is just not working. Consistency is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You need progressive overload on top of consistency because if you combine all of those, it's just, like you're winning. In the really best way you can apply progressive overload without spending, 2 hours at the gym all week, you want to use something called the double progression method. So just to kind of explain it, you want to pick a rep range. You want to start at the bottom of that range with a given weight, and each session try to add 1 to 2 reps. So what I do with my workouts when it comes to compound lifts in particular, so that is bench press, Romanian deadlift, squats, whatever, I work in a 4 to 6 rep range. Sure, it's small, but it allows me to get more weight and make more progress in the least amount of time. So what I do, I just put my laptop away just to kind of explain this to you. I start, let's say I want to bench 80 kilos. So I start with those 80 kilos. I lift those 80 kilos for 4 reps and 3 sets. And for me, in order to be able to go up to 85 kilos, I first need to hit 6 reps on all 3 sets. So this might take, 3, 4, maybe even 5 weeks in some cases. But this is literally the cycle that you want to go through. You want to pick a weight you can lift for 4 reps and 3 sets, and you want to work with that weight until you can hit 6 reps on all 3 sets and then move up 5 pounds. That's it. That's how simple it is. And so when you hit the roof of that range with good form on all sets, you want to add weight, 5 pounds, 2.5 kilos. It really depends. You got to feel it. And start at the, where I kind of lost myself. All right, when you hit the roof of the rep range with good form on all sets, you want to add weight and drop back down to the floor of the range, which is, in my case, 4 reps. And then you want to just build back up to the roof, add weight again, and repeat forever. This is the cycle that you want to go through when it comes to, lifting and getting stronger every single week. And you also want to track every single session. I just use an app called Heavy. It's honestly the best app that you can use out there. So download it for sure. This is the logo of it. And write down the weight and reps for every exercise, because if you're not beating the last week's number or the week's before number, that's the problem. You want to get stronger every single week with, either reps or weight. So fix this before you change anything else. Showing up is not progress. Progressive overload is progress. So this was honestly the last sign out of the 4 signs that I wanted to walk you through, to just to kind of give you a recap of the 4 signs and the fixes, to give you some kind of action steps for you. First sign was that you keep switching programs before anything has time to work. Fix to this, just pick a program built around progressive overload and then run it for a minimum 12 weeks without changing anything. That is your actionable step for right now. You don't want to change anything until you see that it is not getting you any results within those, 12 or 10 weeks. Sign number 2, where is it? All right, here is it. Sign number 2 is that you're optimizing for the scale instead of the mirror. So please put the scale away for 30 days, track your lifts, track your food, and take weekly photos in the same lighting, at the same time, at the same spot. That's how you see progress. When it comes to body recomp, and especially losing fat and building muscle at the same time, the weight does not matter nearly as much as how you feel and look matters. Sign number 3 is that you think bulking and cutting will fix skinny fat. Spoiler, that is bullshit, as you probably already know. So just do body recomp, small 200 to 300 calorie deficit combined with 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight, and progressive overload 3 times per week or 4 times per week. You can do that, but not 5, 6, or 7, please. And on the point of, progressive overload, sign number 4, you're training without it. You're training without progressive overload. You're just showing up to the gym, going through the motions, not seeing any results despite being consistent and disciplined. So you want to use something called the double progression method when you want to pick a rep range, start at the bottom of the range with a given weight, and each session try to add 1 or 2 reps, and then basically just add reps or weight every single session. So this is basically everything I wanted to walk you through. These are all the 4 signs that were keeping me stuck skinny fat. And once I realized them, I was able to go from looking like this, where I had these man boobs, belly fat, skinny arms. So I was skinny with the shirt on, but kind of fat with the shirt off. And it was not really, it was not really like super, super comfy for me. It was not really like comfortable feeling. And I now look like this. Like, I'm not super shredded. I don't look like a bodybuilder. I still enjoy my life. And I have built what is called, I call this the feel-good body. A body where you're not super shredded, not super restricted with yourself. You still enjoy your life, enjoy your favorite foods, but you still look good doing so. Like you are able to fully enjoy your life because your body finally reflects the effort that you're putting in. And so, if this helped, there are really like 2 options for you right now. You can either, if you want more help, follow me at Tom Hennel on Instagram for basically like daily tactical advice on fixing the skinny fat look and getting lean and athletic and confident as a skinny fat guy like yourself. Or second of all, and this is more of a personalized approach, you can book a free consultation call with me. You can find the link in the description. You can find whatever time suits you the best, because if the time is on the calendar, it suits me as well. So feel free to book it. And on the call, we'll just go through your current fitness goals, your struggles, your problems, and we'll come up with the best game plan for you moving forward for the next 16 weeks so you can get the most lean and most athletic and most confident yourself possible. So all of this being said, I hope this video helped, my man. If it did, also please consider leaving me, subscribe to this channel if you're new. If you're not new, just like this video. It'll be totally okay. But yeah, I hope this helped. If it did, I'm super grateful for it. And yeah, peace out.